What's going on, guys? It's Friday, and this is the Movie Idiot Live Show. What is the Movie Idiot Live Show? Well, it's a show where we get together as film and TV fans, and we talk all things film, TV, all that kind of stuff, streaming, shows, whatever you guys want to talk about in the realm of film, TV, movies, streaming. We talk about it right here on this weekly Movie Idiot Live Show. Today, we're doing it Friday, right here, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you guys may be asking, how do you interact with the Movie Idiot Live Show? Well, it's really simple. There are many ways to react and interact with the show. You can do so, of course, in the comments section. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're streaming live on Facebook Live. We're streaming live on Twitch, so you guys can send in comments at any time and interact with the show that way. You also can interact via the tip link, streamlabs.com/movieidiot. When you interact with the tip link, that is the best way to interact, because not only are you, putting your opinion on the show, but you are also helping support the show and the channel, and I really appreciate that as well. Speaking of supporting the channel and all that fun stuff, make sure you subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, and all that stuff, because again, we're going to build an amazing film fan community right here on the Movie Idiot Live channel. All right, now that we got all that crazy stuff out of the way, we're going to start off the show. So if you guys haven't seen the show before, what we do is we talk about many topics within the movie and TV industry, and I'm going to start off with our first main topic of the day. And I got to tell you guys, this is it's kind of a big one here. So Vanity Fair did an article with Zack Snyder. Of course, Zack Snyder being the director of things from DC like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League. Famously, in the middle of doing Justice League, he was removed from Justice League. So, there's that. Vanity Fair decided they were going to do an interview and get into all of the details, and they did get into all of the details on what happened and why Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder recused themselves from that project. I'm going to say, for me, this article is near and dear to me. I haven't even read all of it yet, so I started to read it and decided I was going to literally read this on the show live with you guys. The topic, it starts getting into, it affects me personally on a personal level. So I'm going to get into this article, and this is why I have mad respect for Zack Snyder and who he is as a person, and also I love his movies and stuff too. But so I'm going to get into all this here. So let's jump on this. All right, here's the article from Vanity Fair right here. Hold on a second here. There we go. Here's the article on Vanity Fair. It's called Justice League, the shocking, exhilarating, heartbreaking true story of the Snyder Cut. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, this is a long article, so you're going to have to bear with me here. But again, I wanted to read through it all and share this whole thing with you because this is just unbelievable. So, here we go. A demoralizing battle with Warner Brothers, a devastating personal tragedy, a fan base he couldn't control. Zack Snyder tells Vanity Fair why he quit Justice League and why he's returned to complete a cut that's reached near mythical status. That is accurate. All right, so Zack Snyder, the director of Justice League, has never seen Justice League. His name is on the credits as a filmmaker, but he's never sat through the version released to the world 3 years ago. His wife, Deborah, who produced the movie, advised him not to. In late 2017, months after the couple cut ties with the superhero epic, amid an increasingly demoralizing battle with Warner Brothers, Deborah Snyder sat in a screening room in a studio lot alongside Christopher Nolan, one of the movie's executive producers, as well as the director of the Dark Knight trilogy. Wait, pause. Who wouldn't have loved to sit in on that screening? Anyway, she braced herself as the lights went down. It's a weird experience, she says now. I don't know how many people have that experience. You've worked on something for a long time, and then you leave, and then you see what happened to it. What happened to Justice League was a crisis of infinite doubt. A team of executives who lost faith in the architect of their faltering comic book movie empire, and a director in the midst of a family tragedy that sapped him of the will to fight. Joss Whedon, a director from another universe who we are going to get into a little bit later, a director from another universe, the Marvel Cinematic one, left the Avengers after 2 movies and crossed over to the comics rival DC. picking up the Justice League where Snyder left off, but remaking it significantly with extensive rewrites, hurried reshoots, just as the studio demanded. On November 17th, 2017, the team up between Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman, The Flash didn't so much debut in theaters as crashed into them. It was sneered by critics, shrugged and baffled by moviegoers, and all but disowned by all those who created it. Side note, I didn't hate it as much as everybody else did, but, that's that. Whedon has since been accused of unprofessional and abusive behavior on set. Again, we're going to get to him. The director declined to repeated requests for a comment. He left his name off the movie except to claim a shared writing credit with Chris Terrio, who had written Snyder's previous installment of 2016's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which you guys, am curious to know, because Whedon left his name off of the project, right? Well, when we see the Snyder Cut, we're going to find out how much Whedon had to do with this and how much he didn't. So I'm very curious to know, how much it changed. Publicly, everyone close to the movie practiced their smiles and rehearsed their talking points in the hopes of doing no further damage to the projects. Not that it helped much. The movie earned $657 million globally, which sounds like a lot of money, and that is a lot of money, until you consider nearly $300 million budget, including the reported $25 million for Whedon's reworking, plus a conservative estimate of $100 million to $150 million in marketing costs. Factor in the sizable cut theaters take from the box office, and the return of only $657 million is a clear money loser. So again, it lost money even though it made $657 million. 6 months later, Justice League's box office was dwarfed by Marvel's own all-star showcase, Avengers: Infinity War, which flexed its muscles at $2 billion. After their private screening of the Whedon cut, Nolan and Deborah Snyder emerged into the light with a shared mission. They came and they just said, "You can never see that movie," Zack Snyder says during a lunch at his Pasadena office. A modernist series of cubes jutting at the hillside. Okay, we'll just skip that part. Because I knew it would break his heart, his wife adds. That might seem overly dramatic. It's just show business after all. But Snyder's hearts had already been through a lot. It's going to be the hard part of this article. The battle over Justice League was agonizing. It wasn't the worst thing to happen to their family that year. Not even close. Professionally, at least, things have vastly improved. For years, DC fans and Snyder enthusiasts who worshipped his high-octane brawl fests like Dawn of the Dead remake, his Ancient Greek Battle Saga 300, one of my favorite movies of all time, and his twisted Watchmen adaptation, beat a drum on social media demanding that Warner Brothers return Justice League to its original filmmaker and allow him to share his version of the movie. In fact, they were demanding the Snyder Cut, which wasn't completed yet, but that's a whole nother thing. They dubbed it the Snyder Cut, and the fans could be clever, but many were horrifically toxic. All of them were relentless, and they grew more and more numerous over time. Last May, they finally got their wish when Warner saw the potential to leverage all the free publicity and do something unprecedented on its upstart streaming service, HBO Max. It's not uncommon for directors to lose creative control of big-budget studio spectacles, or for other filmmakers to step in. But it is unheard of for a studio to return to an exiled filmmaker and offer back the power and creative freedom it has yanked away, especially when some of the most beloved and lucrative characters in pop culture history are involved. The hashtag Snyder Cut is coming March 18th to HBO Max. Okay. For the director's devotees, it's a Hollywood ending. For a Hollywood story... let me try that again. For the director's devotees, it's a Hollywood ending for a Hollywood story. But for the truly devastating thing that happened to Zack Snyder and his loved ones in 2017, there can be no fix, no do-over. In the theos of the conflict with Warner Brothers, the Snyders' 20-year-old daughter, home from college and in the middle of a long struggle with depression, took her own life. Sorry, guys. After 2 years spent largely focused on their other children and extended family, Zack and Deborah went back to work, a difficult but vital part of the healing process. When they spoke to Vanity Fair for this story, they were completing Army of the Dead, a zombie film heist extravaganza that will launch a new multi-pronged franchise for Netflix, as well as restoring Zack's original vision of the Justice League. By the way, a side note, you can check that trailer out for the Army of the Dead. It is out now. The latter will be a 4-hour event on HBO Max that will raise money for suicide prevention programs that could help others that grieve that shook his family. Sorry. It's such a lightning... I'm going to skip that part. Their daughter's... Because they'll get to that later. Their daughter's death was the reason the Snyders walked away from Justice League, realizing that their fight and spirit was needed at home and their other children, and with each other rather than in a losing battle with a powerful studio. Now she is the main reason he decided to come back. At the end of the movie, it says, "For autumn." Snyder says, sitting in the shadows of a darkened editing suite, frames from the movie frozen on screens around him. When he talks about his daughter, the otherwise scrappy, ebullient 54-year-old filmmaker always looks away. Without her, this absolutely would not have happened, he says. Side note, if you check out these pictures, look at this particular one on the right. This is Joker Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, Joker Jesus has been unveiled in this article. Okay. Zack and his then wife, Denise Weber, adopted Autumn when she was 1. A little over 1, he says, smiling with a memory of her wild energy. Still an infant, but crazy. Autumn was slightly older than the couple's son, Eli. They had 2 more children before they divorced. Snyder had 2 sons with line producer Kirsten Ellen before marrying Deborah, his longtime producing partner, in 2004, with whom they adopted 2 more children. The filmmaker has often said being an adoptive father is one of the reasons he was so invested in the story of Kal-El, a powerful being who became Superman, thanks to the love and care of Jonathan and Martha Kent. So Superman, obviously being adopted as well, drew him to the story. More than 3 years after Autumn's death, Snyder still slips between the past and the present tense when talking about her. He says, she's the only dork, he says of his family. She was the only fan. The rest of them, he shrugs. Today, Eli is interested in filmmaking, but Autumn was the one of his children who matched her dad's kid-like enthusiasm for gods, monsters, aliens, superheroes. She's super creative, he says. She was a writer. She was at Sarah Lawrence to be a writer, so she was at college to be a writer. Snyder swipes through his phone to show a selfie of Autumn took in a Letterman jacket worn by Ray Fisher's character in Justice League, a football star horrendously wounded in a car accident and rebuilt by scientists' father into half-robot warrior Cyborg. Autumn had been in therapy and on medications, but the depression remained brutal. She was always wondering about her worth. Quote, "What is my worth? What am I supposed to do? What am I about?" Snyder stumbles on his own words. Sorry, guys, I'm trying. His eyes glassy. The conversation was like, "Of course you're amazing. What do you mean you're worth? You're worth more than anything in the world." And she would just be like, "Yeah." Snyder says Autumn used writing as a vent for her pain to channel it into words that might contain it or explain it. She adored sci-fi. Her main characters are always in this battle with things from another dimension that no one else can see, says Snyder. But it's a serious war, and that war was happening to her every day. I think so many people are in a battle and they smile and nod at you. The fact that the studio had lost faith in Snyder's ability to make Justice League seemed mundane and pointless after Autumn's death. It's such a lightning strike in the center of the whole saga, says Snyder. And in a lot of ways, it has informed everything we have done since. The Snyders tried to keep going for months after Autumn's death, finding solace in finishing Justice League, but then the situation with Warner Brothers had him bloated. The official story was that the Snyders were voluntarily leaving the movie due to the family tragedy, and that Zack had handpicked Whedon to complete the movie he had planned. Only half of that was true. In 2010, when he first began working on DC movies with Warner Brothers, Snyder was promoted as the visionary director. Though critics sometimes differed, even his hits could be divisive. He'd emerged from the music videos and commercials with a breakout remake of Dawn of the Dead in 2004, and followed it up with the otherworldly, visual, audacious tale of Resistance 300, which had become box office behemoth in 2007. Given his choice projects, Snyder picked Watchmen, the iconic graphic novel that scorned the classic tropes of superhero storytelling and explored the corrupting nature of power. His 2009 adaptation upended comic book expectations, just as Hollywood was building epic new franchises. Snyder then made a pair of box office disappointments, a digitally animated adventure about warring owls called Legend of the Guardians. I actually really love that movie, so it's visually so great. Anyway, and the surreal and some would say sexist action movie Sucker Punch, before being called to take on Legend Among Legends Supermans. Sucker Punch, by the way, you guys, is also a very visually crazy awesome movie. Not a great movie, but visually it's stunning. All right. When it debuted in 2013, Man of Steel established Henry Cavill as the object of global thirst, just as 300 had done for Gerard Butler with his washboard abs. Snyder's twist was to present a conflicted Clark Kent rather than the sunny alter ego played by Christopher Reeve. Snyder's Superman was willing to kill for what he thought was right, which many longtime fans of the character found reprehensible, and though he still saved the world, he never felt like he truly belonged in it. The studio had hoped for more than the $668 million it made in the box office, but Man of Steel fared well enough for Snyder to get another shot, this time bringing Ben Affleck into the universe as Bruce Wayne in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. The subtitle was a giveaway. This would be a prologue to Justice League, a superhero crossover event that some moviegoers have been pining for forever. Snyder wasn't just making big-budgeted tentpoles. He had become the architect of an entire DC cinematic universe, and his casting choices continued to resonate. He chose Gal Gadot to play Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman and produced Patty Jenkins' standalone movie about the Amazonian princess. I remember Gal saying to me, "Zach, I was going to quit the business. I was getting ready to just move back to Tel Aviv and just have a life there. I was done with Hollywood. I was going to do this one more audition." Then she came in and I was like, "That's my Wonder Woman." And now she's the whole world's. Which, good casting, by the way. Gal Gadot is a great Wonder Woman, in my opinion. As with Man of Steel, Snyder continued to challenge expectation norms and sometimes led the pushback from the studio and originalist fans. Aquaman, for instance, has always looked waspy in the comics, and casting the role for Batman v Superman, Snyder decided to forego the blonde-haired, blue-eyed comic book hero in favor for long, dark locks and the smoky gaze of Jason Momoa, who had come into audition for Bruce Wayne. He's a Pacific Islander. There's a connection to the sea. What if he's Aquaman? He remembers thinking. Everyone was like, "You're insane. That's not a thing." Also great casting, by the way, in my opinion. Here's a picture of Ray Fisher in the motion capture suit for Cyborg. In part of a pattern, the studio gave Snyder the power to go anywhere he chose with its most valuable characters, as he always went somewhere other than what they wanted, is the quote the director says. Still, to his credit, all the recent DC films have used Snyder's universe as a foundation. Even Suicide Squad: Birds of Prey which take place in his version of Gotham City. The upcoming Flash film will connect all the desperate DC films by ricocheting through multiple universes, with Michael Keaton's Batman appearing alongside Affleck's. But harsh reviews for Batman v Superman demolished Warner Brothers' confidence in Snyder. Even the director's champions, like production head Greg Silverman, were worried. When Batman v Superman came out, we did get a negative reaction from the fans. It was disheartening for all of us, says Silverman, now the founder and head of independent content company Stampede Ventures. Zack had made these movies like 300 that were such crowd pleasers, and that was our job, to make crowd pleasers. And here, we have to make a movie together, and it didn't really please the audience. It's so divisive, and I don't know why. Again, I enjoyed Batman v Superman, so... Marvel Studios movies, whose success exerted so much pressure on the DC team, hit on a formula that mirrored their comic book roots, telling stories about relatable, everyday people grappling with sudden phenomenal powers. Snyder's DC universe approached its superheroes from the opposite direction, depicting gods and immortals who are at ease wielding cosmic strengths but strained to be human and connect with ordinary world. The director envisioned this as an operatic tragic and perhaps a more challenging type of comic book storytelling. Warner Brothers feared it made his heroes gloomy and their abilities a curse. Diane Nelson, who was the president of DC Entertainment at the time, says she appreciated that Snyder was more into deconstructing the familiar than just recapsulating it. Snyder is a masterful visual storyteller who goes deep on individual characters, she says. For some people, that is amazing. For other people, that becomes the problem because they have fixed opinions about those about who those DC characters are and are not. Yeah, that's a great point, because people really do get stuck on, oh, well, that's not Batman, that's not Superman, and they can't enjoy something that just, it is a different take, and I feel like that's part of the problem. But anyway, in 2016, as principal photography got underway on Justice League in the United Kingdom, rumors percolated that Snyder had been fired from the film. That didn't happen, but Warner Brothers then chairman and CEO Kevin Suhara, I think that's how you spell that or say that, Suhara, did assign Watchdogs in the form of DC Entertainment creative chief Jeff Johns and Warner Brothers co-production head John Berg. The edict was clear. At least one of them had to be on the set every day. Berg, who's now production president at Stampede, recalls the duty as a low point. It was really tricky and not a position that I loved, to be honest, he said. I tried to be forthright about what I had thought creatively. My job was to try to mediate between the creator, whose vision is instinctually dark, and the studio, who perceived, rightly or wrong, that the fans wanted something lighter. I was respectful of the director and didn't pursue things that were coming at me from the corporate side that I thought weren't in line with what would make the best movie. Snyder knew why Johns and Berg were on set. You could say babysit, he says. Many filmmakers would have bristled at the intrusion, but he was gracious. It didn't bother me too much because they weren't that threatening. I just felt the ideas they did have, where they were trying to inject humor and stuff like that. It wasn't anything that was too outrageous, he says. And we get more screenshots here. Ben Affleck and Amber Heard. Get this thing out of the way. What the heck? Anyway, but Warner Brothers did nix some of the more sweeping notions of Justice League, like adding a romance between Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne and Amy Adams' Lois Lane, who is mourning Superman's death in the previous film. Oh my God, you guys! Holy shit! Really? So Zack Snyder was planning on doing. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. I have to acknowledge this. Zack Snyder was planning on having a romance between Bruce Wayne and Lois Lane. Oh, mind blown. See, I would have loved to see that. God, I hope that makes the Snyder cut. Okay. Anyway, sorry. But Warner Brothers did let me go back. Oh, here we go. The intention was that Bruce fell in love with Lois and then realized that the only way to save the world was to bring Superman back to life, says Snyder. So we had that insane conflict because Lois, of course, was still in love with Superman, and we had this beautiful speech where Bruce said to Alfred, I never had a life outside the cave. I never imagined a world for me beyond this, but this woman makes me think that if I can get this group of gods together, that my job is done. I can quit. I can stop. And of course, that doesn't work out for him. Dude, how awesome would that have been? Holy cow. Oh, I wish I would have made it. I hope he makes it in a Snyder cut. Oh my God. All right. It didn't work out for Snyder either. The studio said no. The downside of making epics is the studio's financial expectations. For Justice League, Warner Brothers wanted a big, round $1 billion in global box office, which Snyder's movies had never reached. In January of 2017, the director showed his first cut to Suhara. It did not go well, according to Snyder and others. Suhara, who resigned from Warner Brothers in 2019 amid a sexual misconduct scandal involving the aspiring actress Charlotte Kirk, declined an interview request. Among the issues was the length of the film. There was a mandate from Suhara that the movie be 2 hours long, says Snyder. The order had a paradoxical impact because it meant eliminating much of the heart and humor the studio also wanted, like a comical romance subplot between Ezra Miller's Flash and Kiersey Clemens' Iris, the latter of whom was absent entirely from the Whedon film. On the day Vanity Fair visited his office, Snyder was working on finalizing the music for the restored scene in which the Flash rescues her from a car crash. Snyder also saw a bigger structural problem with the make it shorter order. How am I supposed to introduce 6 characters, an alien with potential for world domination in 2 hours? I mean, I can do it. It can be done. Clearly, it was done, he says, referring to Whedon's version. Oh my gosh. But I didn't see it. That's a dagger, right? Clearly, it was done. Oh, man. All right. Reports that Snyder himself asked Whedon for help were false. Johns, one of the studio-appointed babysitter, had been planning a Batgirl movie with Whedon. And Snyder and the others say Johns recruited him to do rewrites for Justice League. Johns' representative did not respond for comment. Once again, Snyder was gracious and even hopeful. I thought maybe he could write some cool scenes. I thought that would be fun. Soon it became clear that Warner Brothers was giving Whedon more and more power. He would not just advise during shoots, but do some directing himself while Snyder was still there? Oh my God. Okay. Snyder says he only had one conversation with Whedon about the studio's notes. Reeling from Autumn's death and finding anguish in their work rather than relief, Zack and Deborah quit. We just lost the will to fight that fight in a lot of ways, says Zack. All of us, the whole family, we were just so broken losing Autumn. And having the conversations in the middle of it really became... I was like, really? Ugh. Frankly, I think we did the right thing because it would have been either incredibly belligerent or we would have just rolled over. One by one, he called members of his cast and crew. I remember I was in the movie theater, coincidentally enough. Ray Fisher said on the set of Snyder's reboots last fall, I was walking into the AMC right in Times Square, and I got a call from Zack, and he was saying that he had to deal with stuff on the fam, or with the fam, and he was having to step away. I had a trillion questions. My heart sank. Whedon rewrote and reshot about 3/4 of Justice League from the Snyder Cut. Or what? I mean, let me try that again. Whedon rewrote and reshot about 3/4 of the Justice League from what Snyder can gather. When the fans ask him about the details of the movie that bears his name, he usually has no idea what they're talking about. Worst of all, Warner Brothers, Whedon didn't clearly exactly save the movie. When we got to see what Joss actually did, it was stupefying, says a studio executive who requested anonymity. The robber on the rooftop, so goofy and awful. The Russian family, so useless and pointless. Everyone knew it. It was so awkward because nobody wanted to admit what a piece of shit it was. Oh my God. Okay. Justice League opened on November 17th, 2017. Cratered, sorry. Because Cavill had been making Mission Impossible Fallout during the reshoots, Whedon's team had to digitally erase his mustache in Justice League, which led to a bizarre warping of his face. The jokes fell flat, and behind the scenes, some of the cast had revolted. Fisher was publicly claiming that Whedon was abusive on set. Again, we're going to get to that next. Abusive on set, and Warner Brothers executives enabled his actions. Godot told Los Angeles Times that she had also had a negative experience with Whedon, and she had reported to higher-ups after concluding its investigation. Warner Brothers announced that remedial action had been taken, though the studio didn't offer specifics. Days before the announcement, HBO, a division of Warner Media, parted ways with Whedon on a sci-fi series, The Nevers. Fisher continues to clash with the studio as he expressed dismay with the outcome of its investigation. The cast were very loyal to Zack, and they were hurting for him, says Nelson, the former DC president. It would have been a difficult environment for any new director to walk into. I have no doubt about that. But then how Joss chose to handle that is Joss's to live with. In the aftermath of Whedon's version, a narrative arose on social media. Release the Snyder Cut. Hashtag release Snyder. The Snyder gradually began to encourage the movement, but it was hardly the first thing on his mind. From the time we left, says Snyder, it was not a great year. We did a lot of stuff with the family. It was really important, an important year. That year together became 2. After grieving Autumn and starting to heal with his family, he began to work on the Army of the Dead, a viscerally funny and exceedingly dark smash-and-grab story about an elite strike team that goes into a zombie overrun Vegas to retrieve a hidden fortune before the hot zone is nuked. The zombie virus emerges from Area 51, so aliens may be involved too. During a day-long interview, Snyder giddily scans through the concept art for accompanying animated series, approving vehicles, otherworldly weapons, supernatural beings. He makes suggestions. Well, we're going to skip some of that because that's not really in that. So I'm going to skip a lot of the Army of the Dead stuff here. Let's go here. Here we go. So when Snyder left Warner Brothers, he took his laptop, which was emblazoned with a Justice League sticker. On the hard drive was his original, nearly 4-hour version. It was devoid of visual effects, music, and all the fine-tuning that make a movie a movie. So, again, this proves all the people who said he had a finished cut, it was not finished at all. All right. It was also in black and white. To him was a memento, he thought. We would just show it to random people who stop by, like our friends or whatever. Rather than fade away, the demand for the Snyder Cut gained momentum over the years. Groups paid to have a single-engine airplanes fly a Release the Snyder Cut banner around both the Warner Brothers studio lot in Burbank and the annual Comic-Con gathering in San Diego. Last year, fans pooled resources to buy a Times Square billboard. Wow. A noxious contingent of followers, though, didn't just advocate for the movie, but also used social media to attack people who were critical of Snyder or their cause. Maybe they hoped to silence dissenters, or maybe they were just trolls being trolls. In any case, film journalists with negative takes reported getting swarmed with insults and even threats. Ugh. Unfortunately, I think a lot of online fandom and fandom culture is headed in this very toxic direction, says Kalei Donaldson, who writes for the Pajabia.com. I've never even heard of that. It's especially strong from Snyder Cut acolytes, she adds, perhaps because they responded misguidedly to the director's tales of loner heroes in a hostile world. I don't get this from the Birds of Prey fans or the Shazam fans, says Donaldson. I got a little from Joker fans, but nowhere near the same level. Nonetheless, she's looking forward to Snyder's movie. I think 300 is great fun, and I think the first 10 minutes of Watchmen are some of the best things any superhero movie has ever done. Even if she doesn't end up liking the Snyder Cut, she says, I would rather watch one person's chaos than a committee's snooze fest. Ouch. Again. Wow. Give me a second. I need to take a sip here. And I know this is long, guys. I don't normally read full articles like this, but I really wanted to get into this one. So, all right. Here we go. Okay. Dre Letamendi, a clinical psychologist who, you know, if this is just getting into more of the fans, I'm going to skip part of this. Yeah, so the trolls, we're going to skip the troll stuff. I don't need that. I just want to get into the Zack Snyder stuff more than anything. All right, here we go. Initially, says Snyder, Warner Brothers just wanted to release the raw footage on his laptop. I was like, that's a no. That's a hard no, he says. And they're like, but why? You can just put up the rough cut. Snyder didn't trust their motivations. I go, here's why. 3 reasons. 1, you get the internet off your back, which is probably your main reason for wanting to do this. 2, you get to feel vindicated for making things right, I guess on some level. And then 3, you get a shitty version of the movie that you can point to and go, see, it's not that good anyway. So maybe I was right. I was like, no chance. I would rather just have the Snyder Cut be a mythical unicorn for all time. Awesome. See? Again. I'm more and more respect for this dude as I keep reading this article. All right. Snyder estimates it would cost around $70 million to undo Whedon's redo. For that, HBO Max gets 4 hours of hotly anticipated programming, the Hollywood comeback story of a lifetime. Snyder himself gets nothing. He gets nothing. He's not even getting paid. He's not getting paid to do. Wow. This guy, man. Okay, sorry. I got to finish this here. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would, but I don't care. So anyway, where was I? Here we go. So Snyder himself gets nothing. I'm not getting paid, he says. He was paid for the first time, of course. This time he wants creative control, and foregoing a fee helped. I didn't want to be beholden to anyone, and it allowed me to keep my negotiating powers with these people pretty strong. Oh, dude. Wow. Oh, man. Fisher, for one, was eager to return. There's not a day that goes by over the last 3 years I haven't thought about the movie, and I have not sat up all night thinking, what if there was a world wherein this thing actually does get released, says the actor, sitting in his grayscale motion capture suit. I probably should have let it go, but there was so much that we left behind in the version of the film. It's a completely different movie. I just want to see this movie so bad. As for the fan base, we're going to skip that again. Hold on here. Yeah, so rebuilding the story he has always envisioned is what invigorates Snyder most. He can go as deep and as dark as he likes. He can say to hell with DC's official timeline for the characters and let alt version of the Justice League story wind up wherever he pleases. He has put Superman in a sleek black suit instead of the iconic blue and red. He has added the Joker, Jared Leto. He has reshot the ending with a hero cameo that will blow hardcore fans' minds. Oh, my God. In what may be a divisive move, he is also presenting the movie in a boxy... Oh, it's going to be in 4:3 format rather than a widescreen so that one day it can be watched on IMAX screens. That's so cool. Some may be irritated by seeing the Justice League on HBO Max with black bars on either side. Snyder isn't troubled by that. Good for you. The director is also layering some deeply personal elements. The movie closes with Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, performed by Alison Crowe, a friend who also sang it at Autumn's funeral. It was Autumn's favorite song. Now it's an elegy, I can't even read right now. It's a eulogy to her. Justice League, however anyone feels about it, is made of things and people Snyder loves too. What you think about it is the catharsis of it. If I was a potter, I would have made some pottery to look for some way through this, he says. But I'm a filmmaker, so you get this giant movie. He wants people to love it. If some don't, he's all right with that, with all of it. Whatever comes, he's okay. What is my worth? What am I supposed to do? What am I about? Zack Snyder is answering Autumn's questions for himself. Wow. Dude, wow. Okay, that was a lot. Sorry, guys. Told you this was going to be hard for me. So that was a lot in that article. What an amazing article, first of all. Just an amazing article. And then Zack Snyder, this dude, what he went through, everything he went through, unbelievable. This guy and his wife, Deborah, too. Let's not leave her out either, because she's the producer on the film, and obviously they went through that tragedy together. And then another thing, just Warner Brothers, I'm sorry. Fuck you, okay? Warner Brothers sucks. Seriously, this dude is going through all this, and they screwed him over and over and over, and I am so happy for him that he has come back now and is doing this and is giving them the finger, basically, and all the fans who made it happen and everything. This guy deserves everything he's going to get from this, and I really hope it's amazing. I hope this movie kills it. And you know what? Yeah, Warner Brothers and HBO Max will profit from that, but who cares? Dude, I hope for Zack Snyder that this thing is just unbelievable, because he totally deserves it. What a heart-wrenching, amazing, overcoming story that was. And God, again, that line at the end. Whew. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. So, okay, guys, that right there is why I have mad respect for Zack Snyder. That is why I respect the hell out of this dude and everything he's gone through and everything him and Deborah have gone through. Just amazing. That's how I feel. We are 42 minutes. Normally my show is 42 minutes long. That was just the first topic. So I really apologize again for reading such a long article, but I couldn't not share this. I had to. I had heard about it. I had not read it. I was literally, you guys were watching me. I'd read like maybe the first couple of paragraphs. You watched me read it in real time. So what do you guys think about that article, about Zack Snyder, about what Warner Brothers did to him, about all the Snyder Cut, Justice League, all that? I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, or of course in the tip link, movieIdiot.com, or I'm sorry, streamlabs.com/movieIdiot. I want to hear what you guys think about that, and I'm going to move on to the next topic of the day, which is somewhat related. So the next main topic we have for today is Joss Whedon. So inside Joss Whedon's cutting and toxic world of Buffy and Angel. So as you kind of heard in that Justice League article with Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon has been accused from multiple different people for being extremely difficult on set, extremely mean and rude. And before anybody goes, oh, actors are just complaining that people are mean to them. No, this is going a little overboard, and we're going to get into some examples here. So, Joss Whedon has been criticized by many people about this. Some of them starting as early as his time on Buffy and Angel. So let me find some of the quotes here, because I'm not going to read the whole article like I did on this last one here, but let me get into some of the things that he does. So Whedon's tenure on Buffy and Angel came under scrutiny on February 10th after Charisma Carpenter, who played a reformed mean girl, Cordelia Chase, for 3 seasons on Buffy and 4 seasons on spinoff Angel, posted a lengthy statement on social media in which she alleged that Whedon's abuse of power on numerous occasions while working on the shows. Carpenter called Whedon casually cruel and alleged that after Whedon learned she was pregnant while making Angel, he asked her in a closed-room meeting if I was going to keep it and manipulatively weaponized my womanhood and faith against me, proceeded to attack my character, mock my religious beliefs, accused me of sabotaging the show, and then unceremoniously fired me following the season once I gave birth. A source who worked with Carpenter when she was on Buffy and Angel corroborated her story in Variety, saying that Carpenter would often discuss the mistreatment at the time, characterizing it as very, very bad, mean-spirited, and verbal abuse. Whedon declined to comment, of course, for the article. There was also There's something else in here I wanted to read. Here we go. Those on the inside of Whedon's circle. Nope, here we go. I got to back up a little. Interviews that Variety conducted with 11 individuals who worked directly on Buffy and Angel or were closely familiar with the productions during their runs on the WB and UPN painted a portrait of Whedon as a talented collaborative writer-producer with a pattern of inappropriate, imperious, and disparaging behavior toward those who worked with him. Whedon created a cult of personality around him, according to those sources. Those on the inside of Whedon's circle basked in his attention, praise, and friendship. Those on the outside got the opposite: scorn, derision, and callousness. Everyone Variety spoke to did so on the condition of anonymity, either so they can speak freely or out of concern for their careers. So, yeah. Wow. There's a lot. And this has been an ongoing thing, right? So I don't typically get into like TMZ-ish type things, but I will say this. I wanted to talk about this because at this point, Joss Whedon's career is done. He is done as a filmmaker. He is done as a director. He's done as a writer. I don't foresee him getting out of this. And also, assuming this is true, and now we've had multiple different actors and actresses on multiple different projects in multiple different movies from multiple different studios accusing him of this type of behavior. Assuming it's true, fuck you, Joss Whedon. Like, seriously, what? This is how you treat people? You create an entourage around yourself, and if you're not in the entourage, you treat people like shit? Man, come on, dude, come on. I'm floored. I'm floored, you know? And it sucks because I will tell you guys, I typically like a lot of the stuff that Joss Whedon has done movie-wise. Like, I love the first Avengers. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Why would you throw away a career like that? Why would you act like a total idiot and throw away your career? So that's kind of how I feel on the Joss Whedon subject. How do you guys feel? Let me know in the comments below your guys' thoughts, and I'm going to move on to the next main topic of the day. And our next main topic of the day, well, guys, here it is. We have 3 different names for the new Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man Phone Home, Spider-Man Home Slice, and Spider-Man Home Wrecker. I'm just kidding. No, so what these 3 titles were are the posts that 3 different actors put out. So Spider-Man Phone Home, Tom Holland put out on his Instagram. And then Spider-Man Home Slice was Zoe's, or not Zoe, what's her, Zendaya's, thank you, Zendaya's post. And then Spider-Man Home Wrecker was the one that was put out. What's the guy's name that plays Ned? Whoever played Ned, he was the one that put that one out. So 3 different titles they released. Of course, the real title then was released shortly after by Sony, and it is, in fact, Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home is the official title of Spider-Man 3, and here we go, guys. This just makes me have all the theories, guys, and I'm going to start with some things here that I think might be a thing. So we do know that this new Spider-Man movie, excuse me, the new Spider-Man movie is going to be tied in with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It's also tied in somehow with WandaVision, which of course is the biggest, hottest thing out there right now. This new Spider-Man movie is insinuating that Spider-Man goes somewhere and can't get back, possibly to another dimension or a multiverse or a universe of some kind. That's what I'm thinking. That's my theory. So I think Spider-Man ends up getting kicked into some other universe and can't get back, and maybe never will. What we do know for sure is that Sony and Marvel's deal is a 2-movie setup right now. You're getting Spider-Man 3, and you're getting Spider-Man showing up in another MCU movie, probably the Multiverse of Madness. And then they're done. Then the deal's over. What a way to make him exit if he gets sent off to another universe, and then that universe gets closed off and he never comes back. Done. narratively done. It fits the story and the narrative purpose. It fits what Marvel's doing right now. It's a good closing ending to Sony. They get their character back intact, and they can proceed from there. That's my theory on it. I think that's where they're going to go with it. I do love just kind of looking at this really quick. A really cool looking logo. If you notice here, the logo is a little bit different here. But I like it. I like the name. I like the thing. I'm, again, super excited for this movie. That's kind of how I feel. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below your guys' thoughts. Do you like the Spider-Man No Way Home? Do you think it's a little bit too much? Let me know in your comments below. And, of course, also in the tip link. And I'm going to move on to the next topic I got. And that is this one right here. So, some of you may be fans of the Avatar: The Last Airbender franchise, or The Last Airbender TV show. Well, Avatar: The Last Airbender franchise to expand with launch of Nickelodeon's Avatar Studios, and an animated theatrical film is in the works. So this comes to us from Deadline. The Avatar: Last Airbender franchise is set to get even bigger. Nickelodeon is launching Avatar Studios, division designed to create original content spanning animated series and movies based on the franchise's world. The original creators and executive producers, Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, and if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, will run the studio as co-chief creative officers, reporting to Ramsey Nayato, president of Nickelodeon Animation. Avatar Studios will produce content for platforms including Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon, as well as third-party platforms and theatrical releases. This product is an animated theatrical film that will set to start production later this year. So this looks like they're going to be producing a lot of different Avatar: The Last Airbender content, and they're going to be doing it for Paramount Plus, which, of course, is launching. Paramount Plus, of course, being the rebrand of CBS All Access. I'm kind of excited about this. I do have to say, I've never seen all of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have seen some episodes. But what I also will say is what I have seen of it is really good. It's a little kid-ish, for like an anime cartoon type thing. But all in all, I watch it, and I think they do a really good job with storytelling in this show. They do a really good job of character building, and having the original showrunners on the project, I think, will be nothing but great as far as the feature film. And then, of course, they're going to be able to create spin-off shows. All this equals good stuff for Paramount Plus, because they're going to want to get some content, more and more content on there to launch and rebrand that CBS All Access into Paramount Plus. It's nothing but good for them, I think. It's obviously nothing but good for the guys who created The Last Airbender. So all in all, I think this is good. Good show, turning into a good movie, turning into good content for Paramount Plus, and good exposure. All around, I think it's a good thing. That's my thoughts. What do you guys think? Are you guys interested in a Last Airbender animated movie? Let me know in the comments below your guys' thoughts, and I am going to get to the next main topic of the day. And our next main topic of the day is as follows. AMC Entertainment stock pops up in glum market as New York City cinemas to reopen. Industry awaits Los Angeles. So, shares... I love this part. So, shares of the nation's largest theater chain bucked a down market Tuesday, fortifying their advance of the day before as news that cinemas in New York City will open soon after a year-long lockdown as COVID infection rates fall in the city and state. AMC Entertainment stock is up 16% in late morning trades. This was on the 23rd, which was 3 days ago. They're up 16% after surging 15% the day before. The jump this time more on fundamentals and not the Reddit-fueled buying frenzy that gripped it last month and then subsided. That's the part I thought was really funny. So basically, the whole point of this article is New York City is opening up their movie theaters, finally. And Los Angeles is soon to follow, most likely. AMC's stock is going up. We now have a slate of movies that is starting to come out. Guys, this is it. This is it. And everybody keeps talking about, Black Widow releasing in May. Will Black Widow keep its date? I'm sticking to my guns that yes, it will. Guys, this is it. We're getting the movies back. We're getting the movies back, and they're going to come back. I cannot wait. We're going to get new slates of movies. We got Godzilla vs. Kong coming. We got Mortal Kombat coming. We got Black Widow in May. We have our theaters back. Finally. Thank you. Oh, my God, thank you. And I cannot wait. And I'll probably be renewing my A-list subscription very soon because, yeah, I'm definitely going to see Kong vs. Godzilla, and I am definitely going to see Mortal Kombat, and those come out very soon. So I am excited. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited? It looks like the theaters are finally going to be coming back. It looks like we're going to finally get our cinematic experiences again. Let me know in the comments below your guys' thoughts on that. And I am going to get to the next topic. We had 2 more topics, guys. I know this is a really long show today, but, you know, it is what it is, man. I really wanted to talk about that first topic. So, all right. Next topic of the day. We got Mission Impossible 7, A Quiet Place 2, to debut on Paramount Plus after 45 days in theaters. What does that mean exactly? Well, Paramount is going to be releasing, obviously, the movies 45 days, or I'm sorry, let me try that again. They're going to get a 45-day run in theaters, and then they're going to release on Paramount Plus. So again, we're talking about Paramount Plus again. This is a big thing. This is not the thing that Warner Brothers was doing. So where Warner Brothers is trying to do the day-and-date release on HBO Max and on theaters, Paramount is respecting a theatrical window. Granted, a much less theatrical window, but still a theatrical window. I think this is great, and I think it's good news for theaters. It's not the 90 days they would have liked. It's not even 60 days I think that they would have liked. But honestly, if you look at the numbers pre-pandemic, most movies make most of their money within the first 45 days. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Mission Impossible releases and 45 days into it, that movie's still making millions of dollars, they're not going to pull it from the theaters. They're going to keep it there and let it keep chugging along. I betcha. So that's my thought on it. I think this is not a big deal. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a win-win compromise type of situation. Now, I'm going to look in the article and see if they say anything about whether they discussed it with the theaters or not. So let me just skim through this really quick here. Paramount strategy. Stay afloat. Hold on, almost there. No, so it does not say, but I still, considering that the theaters have not come out and chastised them for the move, I'm guessing they probably talked to theaters beforehand and kind of worked it out with them and was like, look, this is what we're thinking. I think this is a win-win for Paramount. I think it's a win for the theaters because they're going to be getting original content exclusively in theaters instead of what Warner Brothers was trying to do in some other studios as well. So I think it's a good thing. So that's how I feel about it. How do you guys feel about the 45-day theatrical window setup that Paramount is doing? Let me know in the comments below your guys' thoughts on that. And I'm going to get to the final topic of the day. Again, I know it's been a long show, guys, but we have almost finished it up. And of course, guys, it's Friday. I mean, there is no other topic to talk about, and which I can't really even talk about because it'd be a spoiler thing, which we're going to be doing a spoiler discussion on, and that is WandaVision. WandaVision. Episode 8 hit today. Damn is all I can say. Damn. First off, the open spoiler discussion. Let me just get that on the schedule right now here. So, I'm thinking Sunday night is where I'm at. How does that work for you guys? Have your people talked about? No, I'm just playing. All right, so Sunday night is what I'm thinking for the open spoiler discussion. And let's go with hold please. It's gonna Sunday. Yep. So let's do Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for WandaVision open spoiler discussion. So I'm going to get that on the books right now. Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll do the WandaVision open spoiler discussion. We're going to talk all things spoilers for WandaVision Episode 8. Guys, this episode was awesome. That I can't say a whole lot, but it was a really good one. A gut punch. I will say that a gut punch of an episode. It gets into the nuts and bolts. A lot of theories get debunked. A lot of theories get held up. A lot of questions get asked again. This show, right? They answer so many questions, and then they bring up so many more. And that's, again, just such a great, well-written show. So many details, so many things they pay attention to. Agatha in this is unbelievable. Guys, it's going to be great. So, yeah. We definitely got to get into that open spoiler discussion on Sunday. Again, Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be doing that. I loved this episode. But it's not about me. It's about you guys. What did you think? Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on the WandaVision episode 8. Did you like it? Did you not? Again, you can also hit me up in the tip link. And that tip link, of course, is streamlabs.com/movieidiot. Again, using the tip link not only gets your comments and questions on the show, but it also helps support the channel as well. All right. That's it. That's it for all the topics we have today. I know that was a lot. Again, guys, I really delve into that first one, but it was one that was near and dear to me. I really wanted to get into that article. What an amazing article that was. And again, just mad respect I have for Zack and Deborah Snyder and what they've gone through and how they're coming out the other end of it, and just the message there, and just, wow, it's powerful, and it hits home for me. I gotta tell you guys, it really does hit home for me. That's why it was so hard for me to get through it, but we did it. We got through it. So I do have a few tip comments here. So I'm going to get into those. We got 4 tip comments today. We'll start with Just Some Guy sent in a tip. He says, we finally have a name for the Spider-Man movie. I'm so excited for this. I hope it lives up to the hype. Yep, so Just Some Guy. We literally just talked about that. It is Spider-Man No Way Home. And yeah, dude, I am super, super excited about this movie. I can't wait. I love the name. Again, Marvel and Sony are killing it with this collaboration. I'm a little bummed that it's only 2 movies, but I'm hoping, smarter people will prevail and it won't be. We'll see about that. But all in all, yeah, just amazing, amazing. All right, let's get to our next one. My guy, Del Mackey. Del Mackey chimes in. Says, hi, Mike. I respect Zack Snyder, too. Not only is he an amazing filmmaker, but to overcome all he has gone through is inspiring. Yeah, again, just an amazing journey, a very difficult one. I can't even imagine. Like, no parent should outlive their kid, and that's really, it's tough. That is just, and again, shame on Warner Brothers with the way they handled that. Shame on them. They should have put the movie on hold. They should have been like, look, we're going to put the movie on hold. Showing no faith in him, and him going through that and them doing all of that to him is just reprehensible behavior by that studio. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And you notice most of the people they refer to in the studio are gone. Good fucking reason, because they suck, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I'm with you, Just Some Guy. Again, I have all the respect in the world for Zack Snyder and what he has gone through, and him and his wife. They're just amazing. So that's how I feel about that. And obviously you do too. So, all right, let's get to the next one here. 2 more. We got Nick Papagiorgio, also a regular tipper as well. Nick says, did you hear that George Lucas is going to be writing episodes for Star Wars show content again? Awesome. I don't think that's true, Nick. Let's do some Google searching. Let's do that, because I did vaguely hear about this, but I heard that it was not a true thing. So writing George Lucas writing Star Wars show. Let's try that. Star Wars show. We'll look this up here. I'll let you guys kind of take this journey with me here, and let's see what we can find. So, Star Wars rumor, George Lucas is on the Andor series. Let's look at where these come from, right? So here's how you debunk movie and TV myths. You find a topic. Obviously, there's some articles here, but start looking at where they come from, right? So view all stories. Deseret News. Inside the Magic. Looper. That's a somewhat big name. Cinema Blend. Heroic Hollywood. Inside the Magic. Niagara Frontier. You know what you're not seeing here? If George Lucas was a writer for Star Wars once again, you know what you would be seeing? You'd be seeing The Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, Variety. We're not seeing that. I'm going to go into this Looper article because I bet you this Looper article is going to call it out as the bullshit that it probably is. So, could George Lucas be returning over the past 44 years? Unfortunately, Lucas's relationship with the Star Wars franchise began... Oh, no, not there. So the information is posted on IMDb. Yeah, so that's how they're getting it. So people went on IMDb, and it lists George Lucas as a writer. Well, here's how this works. Yes, George Lucas has writer credit for Mandalorian as well. And he also has writer credit for the upcoming Boba Fett show. And he also has writer credit for Cassian Andor. And he has writer credit for Rangers of the New Republic. You want to know why? Because George Lucas created Star Wars, and he created a lot of the characters you're seeing. Because of that, he will get a writer credit on every single show. It's just a credit. It's because he created it in the first place. So I'm sorry to say, I'm just kind of looking it over at a glance here. I'd bet you no, I'm sorry, Nick. Unfortunately, I hate to burst your bubble, dude, but I don't think George Lucas is coming back as a writer. Again, if he was legit writing episodes, you would have saw that in Deadline, Variety, The Hollywood Reporter. That's where you go. You go to those major trades. They're the ones who do the homework and really check into this stuff, and they won't report it unless it's legit. And this, my friend, unfortunately, Nick, is not legit. So, but thank you for tipping, man. Sorry to dash your hopes on that one, but, thank you for tipping in, and I always appreciate your interaction to the show, man. So appreciate it. And then one final tip, and that's from Bick Mitchum. Bick Mitchum says, WandaVision, just wow. Yeah, dude. Agreed. WandaVision, just wow. It was a phenomenal show. And we got one more episode now. One more next Friday. The other thing I want to tell you guys, too, I am going to record myself. I'm going to do, I don't do reaction videos, but I've decided for shows like WandaVision, for The Mandalorian from now on, for, those kind of shows, Falcon and Winter Soldier, things like that, I'm going to do reaction videos of me watching the finale. So when I watch WandaVision next week, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to, before I watch it, so you will be watching me, you'll see me do a reaction watch along with this show for the season finale. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to upload it. I'm going to try to come up with a creative way to do it so that, because when you do it, you can't have the show playing on your screen. So I'm not going to loop it through my thing. I might just have a camera pointed at the screen kind of at an angle so you can't really see it really well. So that's kind of my plan. But yeah, I'm going to do a reaction video watch along to WandaVision, the season finale, and probably the series finale. So you guys will be able to watch me react in real time with what I'm watching. So that's going to be next week. Of course, I'll do that. And again, guys, doing the full WandaVision open spoiler discussion this week. We're going to be doing it Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hillary just chimed in and says, yes, I love that idea. Yeah, Hillary. Yeah, I love it too. I think it's going to be cool. I can't wait. I wish I would have done it for the Mandalorian one. Dude, you guys would have saw me bawling like a baby, like a grown-ass man baby. Because I had to watch that on my break at work. It was because I was working overnights at the time, and I literally watched it on my break. And Dude, like, I'm just like, I'm trying to hold it together in the break room. So, oh man, it was bad. It was bad. So that's the plan. So yeah, that's what we got. And that's gonna do it. It's gonna do it for today's Movie Idiot Show. Again, guys, one more time, just so you guys know too, you guys can interact with the show anytime, 24/7 with the tip link, streamlabs.com/movieidiot. Again, when you use the tip link, not only do you interact with the show, but you also support the show, and I really appreciate that as well. And again, that way too, if you're sitting there, it's the middle of the night or whatever, and you just have an idea, oh, hey, I want to send something to Mike, you can do it 24/7 anytime right there on the tip link as well. So I would appreciate that. And again, I will see you all not tomorrow, but Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for the WandaVision open spoiler discussion. Thank you guys for sitting with me today. I know it was quite a bit longer show. In the beginning, I went through that whole article. Again, check that article out on Vanity Fair, the one with Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder. It's an amazing article, and just mad respect for them as well. So, all right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Friday. I will talk to you all later. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you all Sunday night for the open spoiler discussion, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the Movie Idiot channel. Peace. I'll see you later.